Hello, good people, and welcome back to Level Up Your Tactics. Now, have a look at this position. The current world champion Gukesh Dommaraju played this game in 2022 against Gawain Jones. White played bishop to d5, king to h8. Now you can kind of feel out ideas of bishops here, kind of just trying to destroy the position. Was that too violent? Well, he played bishop to b2, bishop to g7, knight to g5, really trying to infiltrate the king side there. Bishop to f5, and that move attacks the queen. So, what did Gukesh Dommaraju do in this position? What did he play? Today we're going to look at the tactical principle of pin and checkmate threat by removal of exit squares. With the pin, of course. This is a nice tactical coup de grace. Let's boost that ELO. Let's get it.
Round one, fight!
This game took place in 2022 in Linares, Spain, not so long ago. Gukesh D, I think, was 16 at the time of this game being played. He's already rated 27-26, and one of India's many hopes. A lot of super GMs from India, and he's playing against Gawain Jones from not sure where Gawain's is from, but we'll get to that. He's rated 26-23. Oh, before I forget, if you do find this content tolerable and helpful in helping your chess journey, please leave a like and sub. You have my gratitude. Let's get started. White starts with d4, knight to f6, the Indian c4, g6, knight c3, d5. We get to a Grunfeld. So, some aggression here. Knight to f3, e3, castle king, takes, and now bishop to c4, attacking that twice, and takes, and the opponent plays the typical, and if you take, you get absolutely forked. That's how the Grunfeld attacks, indirectly at the sidelines against the center. Queen to c7, queen to e2, developing second rank, defending that. And now bishop to a3. Just asking black what do you want to do. It would be very helpful for white if black just took here, because now white has a solid center and this opens up. Alas, that's not what happens. There's tension in the board b6. Here, let me just demonstrate what I mean. So if takes here, you have ideas here and a very nice double bishop. Both of them have two bishops. Activity on the sideline there. But b6 was played. Rook to c1, bishop to b7, e4. Knight to a5. Trying to get rid of the bishop pair. Bishop to d3. And now hitting on the rook. And now rook to c8, d5. Just shutting the center. Getting one of the pawns past. And here e6. c4. Notice how this knight isn't very active. So you have to make some ideas how to mobilize that knight. It's a very dim knight. It's in the rim, basically. Rook to e8, queen to c2. And now we have a questionable f5. The thing is, if the opponent has two bishops and the position is about to open up, a move like f5, even though it maintains tension, really compromises, guess what? King's safety. Because in the happenstance that both these bishops get to x-ray, that's a giant trident, the king's position, it's really not great. So, I mean, a candidate move was just bishop to c8, h3, and then find a way to reactivate that. But they want blood, so f5. Rook to e1, takes, which really puts a lot of kind of central advantage for white. Where does that knight really go? And now you've allowed a passer. And more importantly, there's still two bishops on the board. So, bishop to c8 now. Gukesh starts with d6. Takes. That's for activity, by the way. Opening up the diagonal, but first rook to d1, intermezzo, hitting the queen, and now hitting the king. Now bishop to b2. The evaluation is in favor of white here. There's a lot of piece activity that black is missing, but more importantly, the king squares around the king. King squares around the king are really weak. In here, knight to g5. In here, bishop to f5. Attacking the queen, so what does Gukesh play here? It's a move with substance, and it's got flash. Now that you know this and this, what did Gukesh play? The answer in 3, 2, and 1, Gukesh played queen to c3, sacrificing the queen. You might be wondering what happens. If you do take it, it's... Yep, evaluation's 5. So after the check, you have to defend with your queen, of course. But this is kind of hanging. So, queen to g7, knight to f7, and all sorts of nasty tactical ideas will now happen, because if you take, you get absolutely barbecued. If king to g8, then a lot of torture like windmills happen. Once, check, takes, with the pin, you now have, you're down a rook, and it's just sad. The game's just done there. So queen to c3 doesn't touch it. Rook takes, and in this position, black blunders with h6. In this position, black needed to mobilize and make sure this square is not accessible. Let me say, knight to c6, bishop takes, but check. You still have to defend. So white's still winning here. But h6 just crushes the game completely. And the question for you guys is, what does he play next? He is in Gukesh. Now that the opponent played the blunderous game-ending move, the answer in 3, 2, and 1. Gukesh Dommaraju is the queen. After takes, we have the last move that culminates the game, and it involves a pin and a checkmate threat. Can you find the move that I hinted, because the knight is not here? This move is very possible, courtesy of bad tactical defense. The answer in 3, 2, and 1. White wins with rook to e7. Double brilliant move. You can't take because of the pin. And the opponent resigned. Why? Why would you resign? Because after queen to b2, that's an exit square. That's a checking point. It's game over. Unstoppable. If you guys enjoyed that and got something out of it. So in this position, dominating the light squares, inactive opponent's knight. Our queen's on freeze. Queen to c3. You can't take. Well, you could. Causes massive damage. That's a mate. And then here is just open check. A lot of windmills. Queen gets captured. A lot of pieces taken away. So instead, rook to e1. Takes. The blunder sauce. Takes. And now the game ending. Rook to e7. Tactics are afoot. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed that. I will see you guys later. Double peace.